Today was locker cleanout day for the Toronto Maple Leafs after the season ended mercifully, I guess, on Saturday, and it was a chance for players to say goodbye. Guys like Dion, Phaneuf, Phil Kessel, Joffrey Lupul. I think a lot of fans are expecting them and possibly maybe a lot more of them to be gone this summer. But is there a chance that a Kessel could be back, a Phaneuf could be back, and maybe a large part of this roster could be back next year?
I think it's always possible. The thing that I was struck by Brendan Shanahan speaking today was he certainly seemed open to any possibility. So I think that includes a guy like Phil Kessel essentially becoming a reclamation project. It was obviously this year was a disaster, not just for the fact that his goal scoring dropped off, but the whole relationship with the media and the fans didn't go particularly well. But I think a new, regime in place could see him as a guy. He is a valuable talent if you can get the right mix of people around him and you can get him doing his thing. So I could definitely see Phil Kessel back. I wonder a little bit on Dion Phaneuf only because Shanahan certainly seemed to indicate that the leadership on this team was lacking. He's the captain. He made a point Shanahan did of not specifically singling out Dion Phaneuf, but when you say our leadership group was lacking, you kind of have to assume he means the Cavs.
Yeah, and the interesting thing that Brendan Shanahan said today was a lot of their plans or where they think the team's going to go changes a lot if they win that draft lottery on Saturday. And, Connor McDavid in this lineup could make Phil Kessel look a lot better than he did this year. And you know what? He could speed up that rebuild considerably. And I think I'm with you in the sense that I think Phil Kessel is almost like an Alex Ovechkin where they're thinking, this is just maybe one blip, and surround him with the right guys and he could take off. But in the same sense, I do think there is going to be a lot of change.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, the one thing I would say, every time we talk about this stuff in a vacuum, it all depends on what they can get for these guys, right? Like you wonder, a new GM is not going to come in here and feel like, well, my first order of business is I got to trade Phil Kessel and Dion Phaneuf and Joffrey Lupul for pennies on the dollar and start over with nothing. These are assets that the new person is going to want to get something out of. So I think it's kind of a case-by-case basis, but having said that, I do think we've got at least a bit of an indication that Shanahan will want to see some significant changes.
Yeah, I agree. And definitely the leadership has got to change. And I think we've said this over and over again. And maybe leadership or character isn't as big of a deal if you are winning. So we'll see what that holds for the team. But like I said, it should be an interesting summer.